I don't know about y'all, but on this channel, we love when a hype shoe is easy to get. What's up, sneaker people? It's your boy FB Kicks and Gear, and I am back with a follow-up video to my Ultimate Legit Check guide on the Nike Jordan 4 SB, Jordan 4 Nike SB, SB Jordan 4, whatever, navies that have recently released. And I am thankfully once again coming back with a double up of this. This is the pair that I got from the sneakers app released with the hidden link in the Eric Costin Instagram channel. But we are not here to talk about my retail successes. We are here to talk about the Nike Jordan 4 SB navies. And this is going to be a lot of people's sneaker of the year. I can see why. For me personally, it's the Nigel 4 Brick by Bricks, but these are definitely up there. Very nice, very clean, very easy to wear. And the Jordan 4 SB model is probably the most comfortable the Jordan 4 has been in the last 25 years. So I'm happy that these are super available. A lot of people were able to cop for retail, and the resale prices are actually looking pretty good and very close to retail. But even though these are easier to get and the prices are low, there's still a ton of fakes circulating through the market. So we have to do these videos, and we're going to do our next video. This time I'm featuring my size 11.5 from the sneakers drop. The first video is featuring my retail size 11. I like to mix and match whenever I have an alternate pair to use. So keep that in mind when we are doing this, and watch the other video, because the more you can make yourself well-rounded in terms of information, the better. Let's just jump straight into the video. Remember, you can find more pictures of the replica here on the Instagram account that's going to pop up on the screen. Remember, knowing the details about the reps is just as important as knowing what to look for on an authentic shoe. So go to that Instagram account, learn up, guys, study up so that you do not get scammed. With that said, let's get right into the video. You guys have seen the boxes already. This is the same exact box for the Jordan 4 SB Pine Green. Look at those videos on my page if you want to learn a little bit more about the box. But when it comes down to it, it's color differences. Color differences in the shade of sail, color differences in the shade of gray. Those are what's separating the authentic from the rep, and box sizes too. And there's really nothing else to talk about when it comes to the packaging. So I'm going to get the boxes out of the way. So when it comes to the Jordan 4 SB, they have had a lot of time to get it right. The original Jordan 4 SB reps that were coming out when the Pine Greens first came out were not good. They did not have the new shape. They were not the same materials. They were using hard plastic for all of these rubber bits that the retail SB uses. And now over time, reps have changed that. The Pine Greens got updated. The reps got a lot closer. And now the reps of the navies are a lot closer to retail from the jump than the Pine Greens were. But that doesn't mean they're indistinguishable from retail. If we saw my first video, you knew that there were some things that we were pointing to when it came to material, when it came to colors, when it came to shape. There were things that you could look at on the authentic pair that would make you able to separate them from the rep. And you can do the same thing here, even though this is a different rep and this is a different retail pair. So let's start off with the materials. One of the things that I know for at least American pairs of the Jordan 4 SB Navy, they use real leather. So when you touch it and you feel it, it's soft to the touch, but it's a nice leather that you can see will react to being pressed on. And you can see that it almost spider webs, right? The leather feels good. It's nice. They use real leather on these when they typically use synthetic leather on Jordan 4s. When I feel them side by side, I'd say that the rep definitely feels a lot closer this time than the first pair, but it's still a bit harder, stiffer to the touch, and you can see that it just doesn't react the same. It doesn't spider web the same when pressing down and putting pressure on it. Definitely not stiff, but it's a little bit different. And one of the things that I'm noticing, not just about the feel, but the color's a little bit different too. I don't know really how to put my finger on it, but it's like the reps are a slight darker of a white, if that makes sense. Maybe a little bit of an off-white. I see like a gray tone to it, while the authentic pairs are leaning more into the brighter white. And while we're speaking about shades of color, take a look at them side by side. When side by side, you can get the typical differences that I saw in the pine greens and in my last navy video, and we'll go down the list. You can see a slight difference in color when comparing the white leathers. You definitely see a difference in color when comparing the white rubber on the outsole. Slight difference in color when you're looking at the navy paint. The rep is definitely darker in the navy department than the authentic pair. You also have a color difference in the gray suede that wraps the toe box. One thing I will say, the original, in the first video that I did of this pair, the suede on the replica was buttery soft, like super soft, very noticeably different when touching them compared to the authentic pair. Now it's definitely a lot closer, still much softer than the authentic pair, but the textures and the length of the hair is definitely closer, but you can definitely see that color difference. They're using the same type of rubber on the wings now, although I do see a slight difference in color when it comes to the actual lace parts of the wings on both sets. The navy on the rep is just a little bit darker, while the navy on the authentic pair is a little bit more vibrant. Swinging around back, you can see a slight color difference when you're looking at the Nike SB back tab. The white on the Nike SB is a little bit more cream than on the authentic pair. The blues are definitely a little bit different. You got a lot more you got the navy being a little bit more vibrant on the authentic back tab than on the rep, and you also have the stitching that attaches the back tab having more contrast to it than the replica pair. It is just almost like a lighter navy blue, while the stitching on the rep is more muted. Another thing that I've noticed in the previous video, there's definition differences in this waffle tab here. It's just, everything just seems like it's less intense on the rep than when compared to the authentic pair. While we're in this view, you can see the color differences in the liner of the tongue. You got more of a gray navy on the rep and more of, again, a vibrant navy on the authentic. Hopefully you guys can see that color. Moving on to the bottoms. Again, you see that the gum part of the authentic pair is definitely more vibrant than on the rep. Same goes for the red. This is something that the pine green struggled with, and while this is definitely closer, for whatever reason they just could not hit the same color tone on the gum parts. Take a look at the toe as well. And outside of that, you have something that I always notice on Jordan 4s that have a red tongue. You get a little bit of bleed on the backing, and this was something that happened on the replica pine greens as well and on the authentic, but the bleeding is just not the same. It's not as intense, so this comes off a little bit more pink. You also might have a little bit of a color difference as well, what you guys see up close. So yeah, it's the name of the game here is it's the color accuracy. Reps just do not match that color accuracy to a T. They're very close, but still different enough to legit check, and that is the perfect spot that you want to be, in my opinion. And outside of that, air bubbles look pretty close for size 11. One thing that I definitely noticed when I was feeling around the shoe, the netting is very malleable, right? It's soft, it's malleable. It's not rubber, but it's like a very soft plastic that you can pinch and manipulate. When you go to the rep, it is a lot harder. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's a lot harder. The netting feels thicker and it's not as malleable. So that's definitely not something I noticed in the other pair, but this one I do, and I can feel the difference. You can also notice that even though this is the authentic pair is a size 11.5, the netting area here above the toe is still smaller than on the replica, which is a size 11. This here has always been something they struggled with because the Nike SB4 was the first one that opened up this window where it was a little bit wider. Previous Jordan 4s, the laces would come down to like here, and you'd only have like 4 squares that are visible, and here you have like 6 or 7 in some cases. But the toe box in general is just wider when looking at this area. But that honestly that's really it. I did a black light test in the previous video, so I would reference that for things that you want to look for. But outside of that, I will say though that the toe box on the rep is slimmer than on my authentic pair, and that's something that I've noticed a lot about this release that I didn't see in the pine green release. There's a lot more variation in these pairs than in the pine greens, and I think that probably has to do with the fact that there's a lot more pairs of these than there are of the pine greens, which is why they were easier to get and why the resale prices are lower. But take a look at the way those toe boxes look. Very much slimmer, more compact. The authentic pair, the suede comes up higher onto the toe box and giving it a bulkier look. So that's rare. You're never really seeing a rep that is more slim than the authentic pair. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. As I said, no black light today. I'm actually filming this video pretty late, and everything that you've seen in the previous video will count to this in terms of the black light. So I'll leave it at that. Maybe in the third video that I do, I will have another pair, by the way. I'll do black light there and we'll see if we find any differences. But with that said, guys, that wraps up the video. Super thankful that I have a second pair. And now I have to choose which one I'm going to keep, the size 11 or the size 11.5. I don't know, but I'm definitely not keeping 2 because I have the military blues and the pine greens. It's a lot of overlap that I don't need right now. But remember, guys, head over to the Instagram account on the screen to look up more details of the rep pair. Study up, guys. These are actually very close, probably one of the closer reps that I've done on my page in this year so far. So study up, don't get scammed. I know a lot of people in the comments of my last video said they were purchasing these, so knowing this stuff is important, and that's why I do these videos. So that's it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.